Hello, my friends, and welcome to another week of art. Let me go ahead and share my screen so we can get started. Okay. All right. Now, this is actually going to be two projects. Okay. One is for second through third grade, and the other one is for fourth through fifth grade. But they are both going to involve optical illusion art, or like I like to call op art. Okay. And we're doing part one this week. Okay. So try not to jump ahead. Virtual learners, you guys are going to have like a little handout that I'm going to attach to the Google Classroom so you can see the steps. But next week, we will also be looking at color and value and shading. So we'll be doing something a little bit different with these, so don't jump ahead, okay? Um, all right, now, let me get this up a little bit larger. Okay, second through third grade. Our I can statements, I can create an op art drawing using converging lines, color, and form. Fourth through fifth grade, I can create an op art drawing using shape, color, and form. Okay. For this week, what will we do? We're going to define optical illusion, op art, form, and converging lines. Look at examples of an op artist that some of you might remember. His name is the artist's name is MC Escher. I'm going to give you a quick demonstration of how to draw the converging line op art drawing for second through third grade, and the op art drawing using a sphere for fourth through fifth grade. And we're going to create art and turn it in. Okay. Okay. What is form? Well, form is a three-dimensional shape. It's like taking a square and turning it into a cube, or a triangle into a pyramid, or a circle into a sphere, which is what the older kids will be working with. And it is an element of art. And remember, elements of art are the ingredients that make up art. And an artist can create form in art by creating pottery or sculpture, which is something that we can walk around and see from different points of view, or through drawing. And we can create a form through shading or through color. Now, optical illusion or op art, optical illusion is something that tricks your eye. It might not be real, but it kind of looks like something that might be real. Opt art can create a trick of the eye to show movement like ripples, or the form like a shape emerging through a blanket. And this can be done using pattern and changing the lines slightly repeatedly. And here are two examples. You see that they have repeated the shape of a square and tilted it each time, and they have buried or they have repeated a pattern of color or black and white. Now we could do this with color like blue and yellow or red and green. The one to the right is very similar to what the second and third graders will be doing, but this is creating like a ripple effect, where it almost looks like you are falling into a hole, or you might be looking up and everything is really tall and it's going to a point. So those are two examples. MC Escher, now he lived long ago, and this is him on the left. And he kind of looks like maybe he was a math instructor or something like that, but he loved math. But he loved to take math and create visual art from it, okay? And he lived from 1898 to 1972, and he's one of the best known op artists and one of my favorites. Here on the right is a self-portrait of him, and he created this drawing and this print And it appears like he is holding like a crystal ball or a spear, and there's an illusion that you're actually seeing like the room that he's in looks distorted, as if we were looking into this spear that must be shiny. But by using line and changing it, altering it, making the point of view appear a little bit different, he was able to create an illusion. Okay, look at his hand. You can see the reflection on the ball, the spear of his hand. So we're seeing it like it's almost going back into space, and his arms getting smaller, and his head is smaller in the spear. So he was a master of illusion with art. Here are a couple of other examples of his work, and you guys might remember us doing something with tessellations, with shape that we kind of put together like whoop, I jumped ahead, like a puzzle with one shape being repeated and then turned. And really, it's all about how he uses pattern as well. And you can see that in this piece to the left, it looks like a bat or something that he has repeated, but notice how things that are closer are going to appear larger. And as they go back into space, they get smaller and smaller. And the same thing with the spears. It looks like two balls that are stacked on one another. And by using shading, and a lot of his pieces were in black and white. He did have some in color, but we will be using color for ours. And this one that he to the right, it looks like a bird. And from the front side, it's white. And the back side, we're seeing it almost like a puzzle. We're seeing the other side. So that's pretty interesting. Now, for second through third grade. If you're in fourth or fifth, you don't have to sit through this part. You can just go ahead to the next part, which is for fourth or fifth. Or you can watch this because you might decide to do this as an extra project. It's kind of fun. I found it kind of relaxing. And it's very much, it almost looks like a web of some sort with a pattern. But we are going to start really simply with just a drawing, okay? What I want you to notice is that I used basically two colors in this. If you don't have color, we are going to be also showing you next week how you can use black and white shading with this too. That's another reason I don't want you to jump ahead, okay? Okay, so here we go. And I'm just going to talk you through this. Here we've got a sheet of paper, okay? And we're going to start by putting a dot in the center of the paper. And you're going to need a straight edge or a ruler for this, okay? Okay, now he is just going to draw a diagonal line that's not going to be from corner to corner necessarily, because this isn't a perfect square. This is just like our drawing paper like you'll have. But just draw a straight line, and we're going to end up, okay, this line that's going through the point and crossing over is called the converging line, okay? It crosses over that line, intersects. Okay, now we'll do a third line, fourth line, and it might not hit all the way, but we're going to try to make it go across 5 and 6. Now I could do 4. Okay, so I've got 6 lines. They're not exactly even, but that's okay because I could do a point that was off to the side, but this is a little bit easier for this demonstration to show you. Now we're going to take one of our areas here Okay, and we're going to start close to the center. Oh, I'm sorry, from the outside. And we're going to do a smiley face from line to line. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I could do more than that, but I thought 4 was a good number to keep us at, so you don't want to get too busy and you don't want to lose track of these little fields that we're going to be filling in, okay? And some of this might run off the side of the page, and you'll see that as we move on. Now, the one to the right is not going to be a happy face. We're going to make a frown, a sad face. But we're using the point to the left to just curve it. And you see how it goes off the side of the page, or the edge of the page, rather. Now I can rotate this if I want. Each one, let me go back. Each one we are alternating. So I did smiley face here, sad face here. Next one's going to be smile, sad, smile, sad, all the way around until we reach this side. Okay. And because we did an even number, it should end up being like a sad face on this side, or a sad smile, rather. I shouldn't say a face because we're not putting eyes in there. Okay. And you can see how it's starting to have like almost a ripple effect. See our last one. Gonna be a sad face. Okay. Now all these lines I did in pencil. I should do them lightly because if I make any mistakes, I can erase it. Now I'm going to go in like with a black marker or a dark marker, and I'm going to outline all that I've drawn. Okay. So that is your stopping point for part 1 for you guys. Okay. And I will show you what we're going to do next with these colors next time. And if you happen to rush through and finish early, why don't you check online for some other optical illusions to see if you can find any more images, or you can just watch the next video, 2nd through 3rd grade, and see what they're going to be doing in 4th and 5th. Okay. Now, again, we are not completing this. And this particular demo, it was all done in black and white. And I'm only going to show you a portion of it. But I'm showing you this one because I wanted you to see how it looks in black and white. But we're going to be adding some shading to it as well. So please don't jump ahead. You'll notice it's like a checkerboard design in the background here. And you can't really make out some of the shading that I've done in here. I'll have to get you a better image, this image to the right, but this is a sphere, so it's not just a circle. I'm going to add some more shading in here with different colors, or with purples, and I think I used a little bit of orange to add to my yellow. I've got to add that. So let's watch the demo for this, and I will talk you through it. Okay, and I like how he shows this. Here's the checkerboard, but we're not going to do it this way. And then he, ta-da! Okay. Now he used a bowl, and you can use that and a pencil just to trace your circle. Okay. Don't use a marker over your bowl. Okay, now I am going to draw horizontal lines. These are about inch thick. In the sheet, the attachment I'm going to have with your assignment, it will show 1/2 inch. If you want it to be more complex looking, you can do a 1/2 inch. but you need a straight edge or a ruler. So you make sure you try to keep it fairly even and measure out. He did not show the measurement, but you want to be an inch um, for your grid. Okay, you notice he did not go through the circle. Now he's doing an inch vertically. He did horizontal. He didn't go through the circle. He stopped there. Okay. Now his line in the middle just happens to fall in that middle line. Okay. So he's already got a line at that point that he can just draw a straight line. You might not necessarily have that. Okay. And it's not definitely in the middle, but he went ahead and drew that line. Now you're going to naturally curve your lines and not use a ruler because you want to have like a natural curve to it. It's almost like if you took a string and you had a ball and you laid it over the spear or the ball, even though if I pulled it, it would be straight, but that has to follow the contour or the shape of the ball, right? So you're trying to do that with a pencil. So make sure that these lines are curving. Okay, then you rotate it and you curve it towards that center line again. We're going to turn it and do the same thing to our other lines. So you're essentially going to have a grid on top of the spear, but it's not going to be straight lines. It's going to be kind of curved, except for one line, if that makes sense. Okay, so here we go. And you can kind of see how it's starting to look a little bit like a ball or a spear, like it's a ball emerging from a checkerboard cloth. Okay. And he is marking it for a grid that he's going to do. We don't have to do that because we'll be doing that next time. But I do want you to make sure that just like the last video that I showed outlining, he went over all his stuff very lightly. You're going to want to take a marker and outline what you just drew, okay? We're not shading in yet, but you see how I used a marker and I outlined my drawing, and I also outlined my lines so that I would be able to see them. So when I do add color to it or I do start shading, I will be able to see everything and it'll look more crisp and it'll look really nice, okay? So I hope that makes sense. And like I said, for virtual learners, I'm going to have a handout attached that will show you these steps and follow that, okay? Because sometimes the video goes by so quick, and I know you can pause and everything, but in order to get to the point where we are here, you need to follow those steps. Do not shade or color in yet. We're only doing part one, okay? All right, so that's a lot. So you will complete the drawing for second through third grade, the converging line op art, or the fourth grade through fifth grade will complete the part one of the op art with the spear. This is a two-part project. The first part is due is the pencil drawing with the outline and marker. Or if you don't have a marker, go over it a little bit deeper with a pencil or even an ink pen, okay? Next week, we're going to do part two, and we'll be discussing how to add color, how to add shadow, okay? So when you go to let me know that you finished part one, you can just say, I'm done with part one. Okay, just say done. This is the first time I'm telling you to say done because it's part two that I'm going to see the finished product. And I'm trying to keep us all on track with virtual and face to face. So we're all doing this project together. Okay. Online learners, you must take a picture and post to Google Classroom or ClassDojo or email it to me at eturner@ecps.us. There's my number if you don't understand any of this, okay? Or if you have additional questions. So you'll create an original work of art using your art supplies, okay? So that is a lot, I think. And I cannot wait to see these all put together. I'm hoping that we can do a virtual show, which is your art online at the end of the school year. And I would love to be able to do art awards too. But that being said, I need you to turn in your artwork. Okay. Some of you are just saying you're done. I'm not seeing anything. For this part one, you're going to say you're done. Part two, I'm going to see your artwork. Okay. And hopefully it will be a beautiful, beautiful work of art. Okay. So this is something that if you don't feel comfortable drawing, you can do this because it's simple lines, shapes, and just following the math. Okay. Following the pattern. Okay. All right. So I can't wait to see your artwork. I will see you next time. Have a great week.